Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are talking M.2 SSD upgrades in your desktop or laptops. Which is better, more RAM, SSD upgrade? What I would do, my recommendations is, I had a friend that had a laptop. It was so slow for booting. Even open Internet Explorer was, that was up to about a minute before it loaded. That was slow. That was no way workable. I don't know how she works around it, God knows. So I recommended SSD upgrade and possibly memory upgrade. Now this question has come in from my site saying, what's the better performance, changing RAM or changing SSD? Now I would go for, in this particular scenario, I went for the SSD first, because don't forget, with Windows, when it boots, it uses RAM to boot, and it also uses swap file space on the drive as well. So if your drive performance is very low, it's going to make things slow as well. And also over time, especially if it's an old laptop or an old desktop, there are a lot of old software you probably haven't used before. You probably say, yeah, I've taken it off, I've removed it, but it still holds a lot of information that doesn't get removed when you do the add and remove in the software. It keeps the library files still running. So it's on your boot, you're still booting those kind of library files out, and it does get sluggish over time. So in this scenario, because it was so slow and it was tedious, I literally took the drive out, replaced it with a SSD drive. Go for the biggest one you can afford. They are expensive. So this is 120, so don't go for a 120. By the time you run the OS on it and put some games on it, it's empty. Don't do it. Go for 500 gig minimum or 1 terabyte if you can afford it. So if you do a lot of saving, you've got a lot of video files you use and save, then maybe a 2 terabyte, or maybe buy two 1 terabyte drives, have one insert as your replacement hard drive and one as an external hard drive for backing onto or storing your photo cards separately as well. Now, once I installed the drive, we went for the double size you already had in there. I installed Windows from scratch. I installed a fresh copy on the SSD drive. So I knew there was nothing weird software that's running on there. It's completely new. Installed her applications on it. And yes, booting literally was it was very fast, a lot faster than what it was. Open that Internet Explorer was more or less instant this time around, rather than waiting a minute or so. So this gave it better performance upgrading. So check the SSD as well, because they come in various speeds. The cheaper, the lower read and write speeds you get. So do buy a decent one. So I go for like Kingston, Western Digital, Crucial is a good one as well to go for, depending on how much money you got to spend. But do read the details on the drive, what the read and write performances are. Try and match them the same. So the ones I go for is the Western Digital Blues, and the read performance and write performance are more or less the same speed, about 500 megabytes per second. Go for those type of drives. You want the read and write to be almost the same, so it's nice and quick and fast, especially saving files. And obviously for reading, you need the system to boot as well. And reading is quite important, especially if it does those swap files in Windows. It needs to be able to write to it quite quickly as well, so you don't want that bottlenecking on the write speed. So make sure they're kind of equal. Install the drive, fresh copy of Windows, and you're good to go. That will give you huge performances, especially in that case that I had. That did make a massive difference. So definitely. If your laptop's very old, you could probably only do an SSD upgrade. I wouldn't worry about RAM, because in an old laptop, it can be very expensive. And if it's hard to come by because they don't make the RAM anymore, people will be selling second-hand RAM, very expensive price as well. So SSD, all the way first. If that improves your performance, you can go in the next step, depends how much money you want to spend. But I very much like, if the laptop's over 10 years old or 5 years old, I look at the price for SSD, price of the memory, whether I can upgrade it or not. Is it worth doing that or buying a new one? So it's kind of like that. If you've got to spend an extra £100, you've got a brand new one, don't worry about upgrading. But to keep costs down, SSD, definitely guarantee install first. If your machine does support an M.2 stick, old laptops, very much doubtful. This is much higher performance than the SSD drive itself. They've got much more high read performance. And it depends if your laptop has the drive buff or the drive that can actually make it go fast. So if it's got a CO88 that can do 6 gigs per second, then it's definitely worth one of these. That's if you can has a slot for this. But more than like laptops that are over 5 years old or plus, it won't have an M.2 stick anyway. But yeah, SSD all the way, definitely improves performance hugely. You can do that in desktops as well as laptops as well. Again, check for pricing, make sure the read and write speeds are identical, you're good to go. And always install a fresh copy of Windows, always. Don't go to Windows 11 on the old laptops. I'm not sure if they're supported or not. Stick to the Windows that came with it. Make sure you install a fresh copy and you're good to go. That's definitely recommended. Hard upgrade first, always. And if the memory is not too expensive and you can take it from 4 to 8, or if you've got an 8 gig, you can take it to 16, then great. Most laptops, especially old ones, probably only go up to a maximum of 8 gig. And if you've got that, then you can't upgrade any further. So SSD all the way. So I hope that answered your questions. More FAQ questions coming up very soon on here as well. I've got some more, lots of comments on my channel here to answer through. So I'll make a video individually for those. So yeah, performance, SSD, definitely worth in older laptops or desktops.